Hey, everyone. You hear this phrase all the time, right? The AI is learning. But what does that actually mean? Like, for real? Today, we're going to cut through all the hype and get right down to it. We're going to break down how a machine truly learns, right from the very beginning.
You know, when we talk about AI learning, it's easy to picture some kind of magic happening, like it's suddenly waking up and thinking for itself. But the truth? It's actually way more interesting than magic. It's a process, and believe it or not, it's a surprisingly simple one at its core. It's something we can totally break down and understand, together.
Okay, so what's the big secret here? What's behind the incredible power of AI? You might think it's some super complex code or these massive, powerful computers. And yeah, those things help, but they're not the main event. All of its mind-blowing capabilities, they all come down to one single, absolutely essential ingredient. Think about it this way. An AI model without any data. It's basically just an empty toolbox. I mean, it's got all this potential, right? But it's totally useless. It literally can't do a thing. But the second you start feeding it data, everything changes. It transforms. It becomes like a master craftsman, able to build the most amazing things.
Okay, to really get this to click, let's use a simple analogy. I want you to think of an AI model as an apprentice. Just starting out, knows absolutely nothing, and is about to go on this journey to learn a brand new skill.
So let's say we're teaching our apprentice to tell the difference between a cat and a dog. What would you do? You wouldn't just sit there describing them, right? A cat has pointy ears, a dog has floppy ears. No way. You'd show them pictures, tons of them, thousands, maybe even millions of pictures. This is a cat. That's a dog. Here's another cat. Over and over and over. Well, that massive brute force repetition, that is exactly how we start training an AI.
And this all happens in what's called a training loop. It's the absolute core of the learning process. And it's basically just a simple 4-step cycle that repeats, well, pretty much endlessly. So, step 1, the AI gets some data, like one of those pictures. Step 2, it makes a guess. Cat. Step 3, it checks its work. It measures its error. How wrong was I? And finally, step 4, it adjusts itself. It's like it's tuning millions of tiny little internal knobs, just a tiny fraction of a turn, to be a little bit more accurate the next time around. And then it just does that again and again and again, getting a tiny, tiny bit smarter with every single pass.
All right, so if our AI is an apprentice, what's it studying? What are its textbooks, its curriculum? Well, that brings us to the fuel for this whole engine, the training data.
So let's get a couple of key terms straight, because you hear them all the time. Training data. That's just every single individual example the AI looks at. So one picture of a cat, one sentence, one sound clip. Then there's the dataset. That's the entire organized collection of all that training data. So if a single photo is like one page in a book, the dataset is the entire library. And you better believe the most valuable libraries are the ones where every single page has been carefully labeled.
And when I say library, I mean a massive library. I'm talking huge. For example, one of the most famous data sets out there called ImageNet, which is used to teach AIs how to see, it has over 14 million labeled images. Just let that sink in, 14 million. It's that sheer mind-boggling scale that allows an AI to learn with a depth and a breadth that honestly no human ever could.
And it's not just about pictures either. The AI's school subjects are incredibly diverse. It can swallow entire libraries of text and articles to learn language. It can listen to millions of hours of sounds and music to understand audio. It can pore over endless streams of numbers and statistics to find trends. It can even analyze tons of driving data. The basic rule is this: if you can turn it into data, an AI can learn from it.
Okay, so the AI is chugging away. It's processing all this data. It's making guesses. It's adjusting those millions of little knobs. But what does it actually mean when we say it's learning? Is there like an aha moment for the machine?
This right here is the absolute key to understanding everything. The AI isn't thinking. It's not understanding in the human sense of the word. What it's actually doing is becoming an unbelievably sophisticated pattern recognition machine. So after it's seen millions of cat photos, it doesn't know what a cat is, in its soul. It's just mathematically figured out that a certain recurring pattern of pixels, pointy ears, whiskers, a certain shape, has a super high statistical probability of being labeled cat.
So, after all this intense training, our little apprentice graduates and gets a job out in the real world. And here's the crazy part. You interact with these AI graduates every single day. For real. And a lot of the time, you probably don't even realize it. Seriously, think about it.
You know when Netflix gives you that recommendation that's just spooky good? That's an AI that has studied millions of hours of everyone's viewing history. Or how about your phone's Face ID that unlocks with just a glance? Yeah, that was trained on thousands of scans of your face in all kinds of different lighting and angles. And those self-driving cars we hear so much about, they only work because they've learned from billions of miles of driving data. Every single one of these things you use is a direct result of this whole training process we just talked about.
So, what's the big takeaway here? What's the one unifying idea that ties all of this together? If there's only one thing you remember from all this, I really hope it's this.
Data isn't just important for AI. It's everything. It's the fuel. It's the textbook. It's the teacher. It's the AI's entire world of experience, all rolled into one. Without a massive fire hose of high-quality data, even the most brilliant, sophisticated algorithm in the world is just, well, it's a brilliant mind with absolutely nothing to think about. But, this leads to one last really crucial thought. Since these incredibly powerful AI systems learn exclusively from the data that we create, our pictures, our writing, our choices, our entire digital history, it kind of forces us to ask a pretty deep question. If an AI is just a mirror reflecting the data it's been shown, what is it really learning about us?